Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Geneva. My name is Michael McKay, and we're here for the beginning of a brand new show. It's a collaboration between Swiss Style magazine and DukascopyTv. This morning we're going to be talking on the 20th anniversary of this impressive magazine. Believe me, 20 years in the business is an impressive number. And we're talking this morning about the luxury and upscale cosmetics business sector. And I've got in the studio with me two eminent people in that business sector. We're very lucky to have people of this quality and this experience who've come to spend some time with us this morning in Geneva. And I'm going to go straight into an introduction. We have Madam Elisabeth Metzger, who's the CEO of Clarins, if my pronunciation is correct, in Switzerland, and Monsieur Thierry Outin, who's the CEO of Hermes Switzerland. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thanks for coming this morning.
Thank you.
As we kick off, just help us with a definition of what really goes into this phrase that we tend to use, we being, if you like, the uninitiated, the people who don't know the detail of your kind of business. We talk about luxury, we talk about upscale. What goes into that? What products are they? Watches or handbags? Or what's in there?
Well, let me speak about our industry, the cosmetic industry. The cosmetic industry, of course, as you know, it's a huge industry, and we have different sectors. And one sector is the upscale, the selective distribution of cosmetics, and the definition is where these products are sold. These products are sold through department stores, through perfumeries, and this is why and we have normally a contract with the retailers. But well, this is our cosmetic market. Of course, very often I'm asked, "Are you in luxury business?" And then I say, "What is luxury?" There are so many definitions about luxury. Is luxury quality? Is luxury rarity? Is luxury just having pleasure? So I tend to is luxury price? So many definitions. My definition is having pleasure.
Yes.
And quality.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Outin, tell us, what do you regard as being in this basket of luxury?
Well, Monsieur Jean-Louis Dumas, the former CEO of Hermes, used to say, "I don't know what is luxury."
Okay.
He considered himself, and Hermes considered himself as designing, manufacturing, developing objects of the highest quality, right, with a very specific usage. Yeah. So you see, quality, of course, would remain the main characteristic with on my perspective. I think the truth maybe is being yourself. Remain true to what you are as a brand, and as your identity, as your DNA, as we say. I would suggest that the best definition of luxury.
And now we have an idea, although you've not really given me an idea of what's in that basket. I mean, when I think of these categories, I think of obviously watches, I think of certain kinds of motor cars, I think of obviously of haute couture, you think of cosmetics. But frankly, when I look at some of these wonderful glossy magazines today, the range seems to be getting bigger and bigger, and clearly the quality is higher, or else people wouldn't buy it.
Well, the range, I would say we are staying with the same products as the brands are becoming, because everybody's going in this market. Yeah. But as you said, you have watches, you have got cars, you have got dresses, all the fashion, you have the leather goods, you have cosmetics. Models,
hospitality, I think you should mention as well. Yeah. Hospitality,
yeah. The hotels,
exactly. Business, even first class,
cruises.
First class with with the airline can consider as a luxury as well in a way in terms of the service.
It's an impossible question because many of your companies in your sector are privately owned. But how big are we talking? I mean, how big is this sector in sort of monetary terms? I mean, in terms of international business, what sort of money are we talking about for the luxury sector? Do you have any idea?
I don't want to pronounce me on the one figure. I don't know. Well, we know in France, luxury business is one of the most important export.
Well, yeah, I believe it's one. I mean, if we include cosmetics in it, especially, if you consolidate cosmetics and luxury good, surely it's one of the biggest driver of export.
Would it be true to say then that Europe, despite the growth in Asia, China, India, that Europe still basically holds the position of being the key markets for these sorts of products, or is North America of a similar size? Or have we been overtaken by the Chinese now?
You mean in terms of consumption?
Yeah, consumption, yeah.
Well, it's pretty balanced, in fact. Funny enough, Europe remained very, very strong, being based both on the local consumer, local customers, but also, of course, driven by the visitors, by the international visitors going into Europe and fascinated by all the brands originated from France, from Italy, or England, and even Switzerland, for that matter. And obviously desperate to have a chance to encounter, the source of the brand. So, both drivers make this area still very, very strong in terms of retail.
Is that the same in your kind of business? That women would come here to experiment and to use and to buy, or not necessarily?
Well, let's say, I agree that, I agree. In our cosmetic market, 50% is also done in Europe. So in our company, even more. We are very, very Europe-oriented. We have 60% market share in Europe. Again, I think buying, yes, we have got tourists coming and buying the products they know. Yeah. They will know, they won't buy new products. They will buy products which are already known in their countries. This is why it's very important to be known in the countries, and then, of course, these tourists are buying.
Sure.
They're buying, of course, lots in duty-free and in the department stores in London and in Switzerland. I would say that tourism, the money coming from tourists, is rather small.
Okay. Well, that leads me into my next question, which is essentially the question that comes to all people who are doing business in Switzerland and working, obviously, and consolidating in the Swiss franc. Is this is a mixed blessing? Is it not the case that the strong Swiss franc has made Swiss business even more efficient, or is it just a headache that you would rather not have?
Well, it's been a major headache, especially 2 years ago at the peak of the crisis. I think it was August 2011, if I'm not mistaken, when we had almost parity. It was very difficult in terms, as a retailer, obviously, we are buying in euro and we are retailing in Swiss francs. So yes, the comparison with the retail price in euro was very, very negative at that time. And then it creates a negative perception. Even if the reality has changed dramatically in the past 2 years, meaning that we have not increased our price or we have even decreased some of our retail price, in the mindset of the customer, especially the international customer, Switzerland remains a very expensive destination. So it's difficult to counter this perception, this negative perception.
But isn't that counterintuitive? I would have thought that in the luxury sector, the higher the price, in a way, the more pain you inflict upon people by charging them for this very good thing, this very good item, the more they might like it in a perverse kind of way. Is that not the case? That the prices
they don't want to, but they don't want to buy the same product at a different price in one country and the other. Okay. I think this is...
that's an important distinction.
Especially in Geneva, where you have the proximity of France, where all the retailers, the chains...
they can see quite easily the difference.
Absolutely. Sure. And they're very savvy. If we are talking about the international customers, they are very savvy customers. They know exactly what they want, so they check the prices beforehand. They always come with the calculators and they compare prices. And definitely there is competition out there in Europe, and Switzerland is not the most competitive place to buy luxury goods for these international customers. But of course it doesn't affect our local customers, because the price is not affected in absolute value in Swiss franc, in terms of purchasing power.
Because we're living with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's another effect, unfortunately. Well, we lived, I lived this August 2011 in a very, very hard way, because remember the different articles at this time and saying all these international companies, they should reduce prices, and we are just gaining money on Swiss franc, etc. But again, the problem we have now, we fight now against these 2 years. It's not only that we don't have international customers, but the local customer, they don't buy in Switzerland anymore. You just remember that in Switzerland you have got 60% of the population lives nearer than half an hour to one of the European border. So this is expert going out and buying less expensive. This is really a problem we have to fight.